Indonesia has various cultures from its local ethnics. Each region has its different characteristics. Madiun is a city located in East Java. Its motto as Kota Gadis, Perdagangan, Pendidikan, dan Perindustrian, Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) plays a major role to develop the quality of education both nationally and internationally. Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) has achieved some award, winning the award of Top University Aku from Cooperative 7, getting institution accreditation B, winning national competition grants, and many more. Unipma has 2 postgraduate programs and 4 faculties for undergraduate program with 22 departments. Postgraduate program, Indonesian language and literature education, and social science education. Undergraduate programs, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Health Sciences and Science, Faculty of Engineering, and Faculty of Economics and Business. To support students' activities and develop students' talents and creativities, there are also some students' activity centers: choir, band, theater, modern and traditional dance, karate, student regiment, and scout. In encouraging the smart and competitive alumni, Unipma also provides representative facilities, convenient classrooms, Campus 1, Campus 2, Campus 3, library, laboratories, micro-teaching and computer, sports center, language and culture center, Graha Cendekia, dormitory, gamelan room. Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) commits to give learning-oriented education and student independence to develop their abilities and skills by organizing some activities such as national and international seminars.
Universitas PGRI Madiun, smart and competitive.
Unipma, smart and competitive.
We know that Moodle, or the open source learning management system that is completely free of charge, can be customized to meet the specific needs of its features. Then it becomes the open source in education and learning process to be applied. Additionally, Moodle is said to be easy to build and has security and administration features that are adequate for the educators, so that using Moodle can develop a classroom where the teachers provides the materials, collect assignments, and administers the quizzes to the LMS. Based on the background of the study was conducted by the aims to create the development product as the LMS of Sidalis. But the goal is to describe how much the product development is required and to show how the media might arise in the form of Moodle for teaching. As this subject is required by all postgraduate students at ICETECH PGRI Sidoarjo, of this study were only relevant to the Moodle for the course of article writing for journal. For the literature review, as the learning management system, as I explained before, the ICT has the important part in everyday life in such as now. Within the heart of the use of ICT, the educators may able to accomplish the task that no one thought was possible decades ago. The LMS is a web deployable should not require any addition of applications. So it is important that LMS be built on the open industry standard for web development and support multiple manufacturers platforms. For the Moodle, as we know that Moodle is stands for modular object-oriented dynamic learning environment, which is known as the essential and online learning platform. Moodle is a CMS or software package that educators use to build the quality of the online courses or online learning. Due to being the open source, Moodle can be installed on the CPUs, whether old or the new model. That makes it highly dynamic. This open source software allows educators to have access time, space, and money without regard for deadlines, cost, or performance. The community Moodle, which can be accessed through the software size as seen in the Moodle website, moodle.org/doc. The methodology. This research was conducted by the aim to develop the Moodle as the LMS online learning for the articulated journal for postgraduate students at ICETECH PGRI Sidoarjo by applying the model of development by the board and goal model. The procedures of development consisting of 6 steps adapted from the board and goal model. And then the research subject for this research was the 20 students of postgraduates at ICETECH PGRI Sidoarjo in the academic year 2020-2021. For the data collecting procedure, the questionnaires was distributed to the lecturers and the materials experts in order to collect the data. Meanwhile, the data analysis technique, we use a Likert scale which used to analyze data form to the questionnaire distribute, and then for the validating and the reliability questionnaires on the judgment expert. For the product development, as we see in the figure, this is the landing page of the Sidales LMS, which is consists of the username and the password. For the site home of the Sidales LMS, and then the third figure is the site home course of Sidales LMS. In order to create the material for the subjects, as the procedures of this research, the instructional lesson plan or LPS, and then the next step was the project learning content as a lesson plan. Additional research found a host for the offline installation as well as the domain and hosting the service. Once the initial research and development work was complete, the next major step was to design and build the prototype of the educational product to be used in the field of testing. Then the researchers began with the Moodle installations and then later added the local host. After that, the Moodle versions was chosen and then the corresponding of PHP versions was discovered. In addition, the researchers developed the display planning design in the Moodle-based learning development system. This media design was built step by step online, such as slides were selected and then the menu of course including topics in the courses were developed. The access to the CWS platform as the learning model for postgraduate students at STKIP PGRI Sidoarjo can be accessed through the elearning.pasca.stkip.sdr.ac.id. Now, I'm going to conclude the research paper that we have done. First of all, the research of the student needs questionnaires conducted for postgraduate students at STKIP PGRI Sidoarjo showed that model-based LMS, which was used to create an enhanced learning environment for the students, inspired students to like the learning material. The second of all, for the conclusion is, in the term of display layout, the development product was designed with a good intent. The development was verified by subject matter experts. The developed products validation research scored 2.5, and they were given the designation of good criteria. In the term of students' need, 80 students were required to use LMS model-based learning activity. As the result of the research, the LMS itself will motivate students to devote the time their studies by facilitating their navigation and access to all available content. Therefore, in order to implement the LMS fully, the researchers suggest to design the it suggests for the designer that must ensure that it incorporates as many systems features as possible, engage learners, and helps them to utilize everything in the system. The development of the LMS based on the Moodle for the use in the STKIP PGRI Sidoarjo for postgraduate students, it is hoped that the management of the institution will be more coordinated as the ICT use is critical for maintaining a healthy environment, particularly in the field of higher education. That's all our presentation, and thank you.
Thank you, Pak Sigit.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Pak Priyanto. Thank you, Pak Slamet. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's move to the second paper presenter by Ibu Fitria Adamura. Please take the floor, Ibu Fitria Adamura. Please stick to the time allotment. It's about 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sigit, I will share my screen. Okay. Can you read my share screen?
Absolutely.
Okay,
It looks
thank
good.
you. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. First of all, I will say thank you to Mr. Sigit Cahyono as a moderator in this breakout room in the room 1. Now, in this special occasion, I will present my article. Its title is Development of Example, Non-Example Learning Devices with Visual Thinking Approach in the Set Material of 7th Grade SMP. This article is written by me, Fatria Adamura, Dr. Wasilatul Multafiah, MPD, and Winda Oktasari Budianti. Okay, as introduction, education is the most important part in achieving success and balance for national development. In the 2013 curriculum, the Indonesian government requires teachers to develop learning devices that teachers can use to design and process classroom situation during the learning process. One of the learning devices is student worksheet or LKPD. We can say that by lembar kerja peserta didik. The facts in the field obtained by researchers in September until November 2019 at SMPN Tugeger are the most teachers still use conventional learning approach or lectures. Most teachers only use a scientific approach in learning devices. It causing students tend to be bored and lack the courage of students to convey an idea or ideas that they see or observe. Therefore, the researcher choose to conduct research at SMPN Tugeger to apply a visual thinking learning approach. From the visual thinking approach, the researcher combines it with a suitable model, namely the example non-example learning model, where the teacher provides examples and not examples for students to analyze. Research method. This research is product development. The research is student worksheet that use example not example learning model with visual thinking approach to the material set for class 7 SMP. This research model uses the Azure model, including analyze learner, set objectives, select method, media materials, utilize learner participation, evaluate and revision. However, in this study, at the fifth stage, namely require learner participation was not implemented because current condition during the coronavirus pandemic. In this study, using the RPP and LKPD validation sheet to test the validity and the teacher response questionnaire and LKPD readability sheets to test the practicality of the learning devices that have been developed. Result and discussion. First, validation of learning devices. The average score total of validation of RPP validation sheet is 4.14. It indicates that the validity of the RPP validation sheet is good and can be declared valid, while the percentage of RPP validation is 83%, so that it can be declared valid. The average score total of validation of LKPD validation sheet is 4.22. It indicates that the validity of LKPD validation sheet is very good and can be declared valid, while the percentage of LKPD validation is 84%, so that it can be declared valid. Practicality of learning devices. The assessment of teacher response questionnaire sheet was carried out by two practitioners by the mathematics teacher of SMPN Tugeger. The average score total of teachers respond to learning devices developed by the researcher is 4.25, which indicates that the learning devices is in very good criteria and can be declared practice. The total average value of the LKPD readability response by 3 students is 3.74, which indicates that the LKPD is in very good criteria based on the criteria and can be declared practice. Okay, result and discussion. The result shows that the learning devices that have been developed are valid based on content, construct, and discussion according to the 2013 curriculum syllabus with set and AYD materials. Based on result of percentage of RPP and LKPD, the researcher obtained a combined percentage value of 83% for RPP and 84% for LKPD. Based on three theory, it can be stated that the learning tool is valid. Based on practicality of learning devices, the visual thinking approach developed by the researcher is said to be practical or easy to use based on theory of three. Other discussion characterized of learning devices have been developed is prioritizes students to analyze an example, picture, or problem they see, then discuss it with the group, and the result are presented to other groups because the purpose of the learning model is development in development is that students are able to analyze a concept that has been studied according to their own ideas or opinion. Conclusion: after the researchers conducted a validity test and practicality test from the RPP and LKPD developed using the example non-example model with a visual thinking approach, the total average value for the RPP and LKPD was 4.14 and 4.22. It could be declared valid with a percentage of 83% and 84% with good and very good criteria. Meanwhile, for the practicality test, the teacher and student response got a total average score of 4.25 and 3.74, so that it can be declared practical with very good criteria. Thank you. That's all of my presentation. Thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And then I give back to Mr. Sigit Cahyono. Thank you, Mr. Sigit.
Thank you, Ibu Fatria Adamura. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before moving to the third presentation, it will be by Ibu Ratih Puspasari from Universitas PGRI, Universitas Bhinneka PGRI. If you want to participate, want to ask questions, you may raise your hand. You may write your question on the chat room right after the third presentation. It is in the QA session. Thank you. And I would like to welcome Ibu Ratih Puspasari from Universitas Bhinneka PGRI. Ibu Ratih, please take the floor. You should stick to the time allotment, that is 10 minutes. Thank you. Please take the floor.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Maaf sebelumnya Bapak, saya yang menggantikan Ibu Ratih untuk hari ini untuk mempresentasikan apa yang telah kita kerjakan hari ini, dan Bu Ratih sudah mengirimkan videonya di panitia hari ini. Terima kasih. Bisa diputarkan videonya?
Please, Pak. Sure. Monggo Bapak, videonya di-share.
Tadi sudah dikirimkan ke panitia Bapak videonya. Menurut Bu Ratih tadi pagi.
Tidak dipresentasikan sendiri oleh Bu Ratih.
Tidak, karena Bu Ratih ada halangan hari ini PKKMB-nya S3.
Oke, baik, kalau begitu kita skip saja dulu, nanti biar disiapkan oleh panitia.
Oh iya.
Terima kasih.
Iya, terima kasih.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to move to the third, that is Ibu Pradipta Anurwanda from SDKIP Pamane Talinu. Ibu, could you please take the floor? It should be 10 minutes presentation. Okay, it seems Ibu Pradipta not yet available here, and I would like to move to Ibu Heni Sulistiawati and Ibu Rukminingsih from SDKIP PGRI Jember. Ibu Heni, if you are ready, you can take the floor. It is 10-minute delivery.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, all participants on this room. We would like to present our research findings. Before that, let me introduce. My name is Heni Sulistiawati as the main author and accompanied by my co-author Rukminingsih. The title of my research article is Language Acquisition of Mentality Retarded Student at SDLB of Tunas Harapan, Psycholinguistic Study. Now, the other slides will be presented by my co-author. Okay, good morning, all the participants. I'm so sorry today really that I want to share myself for the slides, but it doesn't work in my laptop. Would you like the community to share my slides, please?
Mas, Bapak-bapak, Mas-mas panitia bisa di
Because yes,
share screen PowerPoint.
It doesn't work directly.
Ya, Bu Puspita, Ibu Heni Wisdawati, and Ibu Rupi. Panitia, can you help us?
Di chat belum ada secara PPT, Pak.
Oke.
Itu kan dari peserta bisa share PPT ke saya, terus saya bisa membagikan.
Oke.
Belum dikirim, ya.
Oke.
Okay. Yes. While waiting, sending Bu Heni sends the PPT in the chat. Yeah. So I would like to report our research findings. The title is about the language acquisition of mentally retarded students at SDLB of Tunas Harapan and then this is dealing with the psycholinguistic study. Okay, this is for the introduction. Every child is one of a kind individual with a distinct developmental pattern necessitating different treatment. In Indonesia, the number of children with a special need has risen to 1.6 million based on Badan Pusat Statistik Indonesia Jakarta BPPS 2020. One of the children with a special need is disorder adaptation to the environment, or we can call this is a mental retardation. And the mentally retarded students is student who has under average intelligence functions, communication skills, and social skills. One of the problems in language acquisition processing speak is the identification and correction of speak development for children with a mental retardation. This is based on Oksana Barrier 2015. And then understanding language productions and the language learning are the three basic objects of research in psycholinguistics. Psycholinguistics study include language understanding, language productions, language acquisition, namely the biological and neurological foundation, based on Darjo Wijoyo 2016. Psycholinguistics is one of the newest disciplines in cognitive science, focusing on thinking and mental processes related to language comprehension, productions, and also acquisition, based on Omira 2012. And then the purpose of the study is to describe the speaking ability of language acquisition for the mild mentally retarded students at the special elementary school for mentally retarded SDLB of Tunas Harapan Jombang, Indonesia. This study focused on language learning in mentally retarded children. The reason for focusing the study on language acquisition for mentally retarded children is that many people still do not comprehend what mentally retarded children are, and many others are uninterested in their development, and particularly their language skills. Okay, next, the previous studies on retarded mental children have been conducted by some ability on language acquisition for mild mentally retarded students, which focus on psycholinguistic language acquisition and phonology. Some other researchers focus on the ways how to teach retarded students for vocabulary, reading skill, and writing skill by Widodo, Barbara, Panduninata, and Nostalgianti 2020, etc. Based on the research problems and based on the previous study, we have the novelty of this research. Okay, the novelty of this research is the study portrays speaking ability of language acquisition for mild mentally retarded students, which focus on psycholinguistic language acquisition and also phonology. Okay, there are some kinds of literature review dealing with the mental retardation students. We know that based on the American Association on Mental Deficiency, we can divide three kinds of retardation. First, the mild retardation. It means that their IQ around 50 until 69, and the moderate retardation, the IQ is around 35 until 49, and the severe retardation with the IQ 20 until 34. Okay, and then we have psycholinguistic. Yes, the psycholinguistic approach can be implemented in the field of teaching as a competence. It is identified several speaking difficulties such as student orientation, and it is also psycholinguistic that personality, such as introvert and extrovert, by Putba 2018, Marton and Sokri 2012, etc.
And then the last is methods. Methods, we have a research design. The research design is descriptive qualitative case study because to explore the speaking ability of language acquisition for mentally retarded students at the special elementary school for the mentally retarded SDLB of Tunas Harapan Jombang, Indonesia. The source of data in the study was one student with a mental retardation at SDLB Tunas Harapan Jombang in the 3rd year class. The object of the research studies was only one student because the student suffered from mild mental retardation. Okay, and then the data collection, we have observation, recording, and also data description. Okay, observation process was carried out at the beginning of the researcher entering the school by observing the object. Then the researcher was allowed to choose the object under study teacher opinion. And the recording, of course, the researcher record what they are doing, what they were doing. And then the data this transcription, the data obtained from the recording were transcribed into notes so that the researcher obtained data in the form of writing. And then the last, this is the data analysis, is done by identifying the reading data, identification, grouping, description, analysis, and conclusion, the result. And then right now, finding discussion. Okay, we have 3 kinds aspects of finding discussion. First, what spelling. Spelling, for example, what letter of the alphabet is this? The researcher asks this, and then the students mention E, B, C, D, etc. The subject is the name, one of the name, Chika. Chika placed letters on the media board according to their ability to recognize several letters. The letters were posted on the display board. Then the teacher explained the letters and imitated objects. Objects' ability to recognize letters was quite good because it was able to place letters coherently, even though it took a little time to remember to spell the letters of the alphabet. The pronunciations of the letters was good, but for the letter F, it is pronounced by F, and the letter K becomes key. Yeah. And then the next finding and discussion, dictation and picture description. And then the teacher said, "What is the fruit called?" A-P-E-L. What color is it? Tuning. Chika mentioned apples when the letters of the alphabet said X, Y, Z. But when she said objects, she could. But when she strung the letters of the alphabet, they could not. For the mention of the color apples, the yellow color becomes tuning. And then next, the last finding, discussion for dictation and writing. It's like a what line is it? Students, tidur, langkung, miring, for example. The student of the study was able to say according to the selected line, make it easy for her to move her hand to mention the multiple lines. It indicated that thicken from slanted lines to curved lines through the thickening process was easy when she imitated the lines determined by the book. She was an abbreviation for Almada Chika. Salini could recall the names of the lines. Discussion. Based on the data above, it can be estimated that Chika's language skills are not significantly different from those of other children. Chika's ability to understand learning is different from that other children, thus it doesn't automatically make Chika a normal child. Phonologically, the articulation is quite clear, although there are often errors in pronunciation object. Likewise, in morphological abilities, errors often arise. For example, substitutions or mentioning in other words, eliminating certain syllables, assimilation in other words, in adding the wrong syllables according to Chika's that are nearly identical to this normal children, but their intellect capacities differ. According to Supri 2019, Panduinata 2018, mildly mental challenged children nevertheless require additional assistance in understanding and interpreting classroom materials. Conclusions. Based on the findings of the research on the acquisition of speaking skills for mentally retarded children conducted at SDLB Tunas Harapan Jombang, it is possible to conclude that acquisition of speaking skill for mentally retarded children carried out at SDLB Tunas Harapan Jombang includes detecting and imitating reading letters as evidence-based learning notebooks. This can be seen in the teacher understanding of the material through the media used to determine how well students have mastered writing and reading skills. Okay, well, Bapak Ibu, this is our recommendation from our report articles, those children with a mental retardation or mental retardation are intellectual development conditions in which they face obstacles that prevent them from reaching the stage of development properly and optimally when compared to other normal children. Mentally retarded children can be supported from good school learning. However, they must be trained to speak, beginning with a consonant and progressing to good pronunciation through intermediates, so that they can influence development in school learning activities. So it means that the brief conclusion that they need special assistance, especially for the mild retardation student. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ibu. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to QA session for the first round.
Okay.
If you have any question, you can write your question here on the chat room, or you can raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
If there are no questions, I would like to thank very much the paper presenters for the first round, Bapak Priyanto Widodo, Bapak Joko Slamet, Ibu Fitria Adamura, Ibu Heni Sulistiawati, and Ibu Rukminingsih. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the first round.
Thank you. Welcome your much,
Mr. Sigit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the second round. I would like to call the attendance of Ibu Yuni Ramayanti from Universitas Graha Nusantara, Mr. Rabiuddin, Institut Agama Islam Negeri Sorong, and Ibu Fatma Yanti, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purworejo. So for those whose name I have mentioned, please get ready. Each of you is allotted 10 minutes. Again, everyone, please stick to the time allotment. 10 minutes delivery. Now please take the floor.
Buruk meaning sih backgroundnya tidak kelihatan ini wajahnya.
Ibu Yuni is available here. Bapak Rabiuddin, are you here? Ibu Fatma Yanti, are you here, Bu? And move to the last. Bapak Muhammad Nasir, are you here, sir? Okay, since those names are not yet here, I would like to come back to the committee. Mas, video Ibu Ratih siap?
Oh iya, Pak.
Okay. If the video is ready, you can turn on the video. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Tati Musbantari. I am from Universitas PGRI Madiun. In this very nice occasion, I would like to present my paper with the title Ethnomathematics Activity in Tulungagungan Sibori Fabric Production. Introduction. Tulungagungan Sibori cloth craft is one of the cultural heritages that is still preserved by the people that usually called community of UKM Tulungagung. In the manufacture of Sibori Tulungagungan cloth, many interesting and varied geometric and abstract motifs are used. Mathematics and culture are two things that are closely related to the activities of daily life. Because mathematics is a form of culture that is integrated in all people's life. This means that in culture we can find various kinds of mathematical concepts. so that it can be clear that mathematics and culture are interrelated. The relationship between culture and mathematics is known as ethno-mathematics. But in fact, most people often do not realize that their daily activities have applied mathematical concepts. Most people think that mathematics is only a subject in school. This is because mathematics that blends into the culture is simpler than the mathematics learned in school. Whereas mathematics is often used by humans in various aspects of life, for example, in measuring, calculating, designing, and buying and selling activities. In addition, people are also not used to identifying and analyzing the relationship between mathematics and local culture. So, there is a sense of public distrust that every culture owned contains elements of mathematics. Therefore, as an effort to preserve regional culture and to avoid it from getting lost, the steps that can be taken are to introduce the culture from mathematical point of view. This is hope that mathematics and culture will become a unity that influence each other. And finally, mathematical thinking can evaluate new theories in a multi-dimensional way against developing cultures. Research purpose. The researchers hope to provide good implications, namely by showing the relationship between culture and mathematics through Sibori Tulungagungan cloth graph in terms of aspect of mathematical fundamental activities according to Bishop, namely counting, measuring, locating, designing, playing, and explaining. Research methodology. This research is a qualitative research using ethnographic method. The study uses an ethnographic approach, which is an empirical and theoretical approach, which aims to obtain a comprehensive picture and analysis of culture based on a field research. Research result. Mathematical fundamental activities are found and exist in Tulungagungan Sibori fabric production activities. The locating activity includes actions to determine the locations of the raw material supplier based on quality reasons and has become a subscription to Sibori fabric producers, placing employees according to expertise and determining the marketing place. The counting activity includes determining the number of fabrics produced, determining the selling price of fabrics, determining new colors, and determining the wages received by the employees. Determining the length of the fabric when folding. Measuring the unit of length and weight is an activity that is included in measuring activities. Playing activities, namely the determinations of product that has been produced will be reproduced or not. The designing activities can be found in the process of determining Sibori technique and what type of food model is used, the process of immersing it, and a dye solution and water glass. The explaining activity is found in the reasons why the Sibori Tulungagungan cloth does not have a special philosophical or meaning, because the motif that appears is a result that cannot be predicted beforehand. The motifs that appear depend on the technique used, the absorption of the colors, and the conditions around them.
Thank you. The video by Ibu Ratih. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I would like to call the presence of Ibu Pradipta Anurwanda, Bapak Rahmat Winata, STKIP Pamane Tolino. Are you here, sir? Ma'am? Next, I am calling for the presence from Universitas Geraha Nusantara, Ibu Yuni Rahmayanti, Eni Sumanti Nasution. Are you here, Ibu? Okay, I move again by calling Bapak Rabiuddin, Institut Agama Islam Negeri Sorong. All right, move again. Paper presenters from Universitas Muhammadiyah Purworejo. Bapak Raden Wahid, Bapak Ansari, Bapak Arif, Ibu Siska Desi. Are you here? Sure, ma'am. Dan Bapak Nasir, UNS. Are you here? Sure. If you are here, you may take the floor. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Mas Yadi, video-video yang sudah terkirim untuk di room 1 bisa ditampilkan.
Cuma
Silakan, Mas
satu,
Yadi.
Pak. Cuma satu ratih dari tadi, Pak. Halo, Pak.
Ya, Mas Yadi.
Cuman satu, Pak, dari ratih tadi.
Oke, terima kasih Mas Yadi. So again, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be patient. I should call again and again the names listed here on the paper. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, I am calling for the presence of Ibu Pradipta, STKIP Pamane Tolino. Ibu, are you here, Bu? No. Ibu Yuni Rahmawati, Ibu Eni, and so on from Universitas Geraha Nusantara. Are you here? Sure, ma'am. Okay, next. Bapak Rabiuddin, Institut Agama Islam Negeri Sorong. Are you here? Sure. All right. Bapak Raden Wahid and friends and colleagues from Universitas Muhammadiyah Purworejo. Are you here, sir? Ma'am. Again, the last in the list. Bapak Muhammad Nasir, UNS. Are you here, sir? All right, ladies and gentlemen, while we are waiting for them to present, if you have any questions, let's go on with discussion. It would be more fruitful for us while we are waiting for them whose name I just called. Is there any questions? No. Okay.
No more questions.
Pak Sigit,
yes, Pak Pri.
Ya, mungkin teman-teman yang lain itu ada di main room mungkin.
Oke. Ya.
Pak dicek lagi, masa mereka gitu mungkin gabung di main room tapi belum ke breakout.
Yang di main room, maaf Pak, untuk main room yaitu Ibu Endang, Ibu Hafni, Mas Rizky, Bu Rukuminingsih yang tadi sudah masuk, terus Pak Setio sama Mbak Yulia.
Oke, berarti sudah tidak ada lagi ini ya di room 1. Room 1 is done.
That's awesome, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again and again, I would like to express our sincere thanks. First of all, to Pak Priyanto Widodo, Pak Joko Slamet. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mas Sigit.
STKIP PGRI Madiun. You are okay, sir. Second, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Ibu Fatria Adamura and friends from Universitas PGRI Madiun, our college. Ibu Fitria, thank you.
Penasaran.
And then Ibu Ratih, Universitas Bhinneka PGRI Advanced. Thank you very much, Ibu.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, and then Ibu Heni and Ibu Rukminingsih from SPKI PGRI.
Ya, Bu Eni.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Eni.
Thank you very much.
Ya, Bu Eni.
Moderator, mohon maaf menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Slide-nya tadi kan tidak bisa ditayangkan karena kita sudah membuat dengan bagus. Bolehkah ditayangkan walaupun sebentar?
Yes, okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Oke, Mas Yadi.
Dia melekan itu Pak Sigit.
Iya, Pak Pri. Mas Yadi, permintaannya bisakah?
Di share PPT belum ada. Di share belum dikirim, Bu.
Ini mau
belum.
share sendiri.
Share.
Oke, monggo. Nggih, lah bagus. Monggo, Bu. Again,
Disampaikan.
ya, Bu. Because this is international conference, please deliver this in English. You are at additional time, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes delivery additional time.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
English section.
Because this is international, right? Okay. Yes, my main author wants to share again, yeah, because she said that it's she wants to show maybe. I just want to just enter, yeah. This one enter, yes. This one, come on, yes. If I have explained you, yeah, this is about the introductions, yeah, about the my interrelated students, and this is the introductions. This is the consists of a research problem, and then also the previous study, and this is the purpose of the study. Yes, why did we conduct this research? Okay, and then next, this is the previous studies, and then we can, from the previous studies, we can conclude that our research finding has novelty, because some previous studies didn't conduct the research as our variables. Okay, this is the novelty of this research. The study besides speaking ability of language acquisition for mentally retarded students, focus on psycholinguistic, language acquisition, and phonology. So it means that we say this is the novelty of our research. Okay, and then next.
Applause.
Applause ya Pak ya, sudah selesai. Ini hanya sedikit aja. Okay, thank you.
Good, Ibu. We are much interested. Oh, is that all, Bu?
Untuk Bu Heni.
Is that all you would like to present to us? Is that all?
Finish, Pak. Finish.
Okay. Bapak Ibu, thank you very, very much. On behalf of the committee, again, thank you very much. We would like to see you again someday in an international conference somewhere. We don't know.
We are proud of you, Pak Sigit. You are the best moderator.
Pri and everyone is among my best friends too. Thank you, Bapak Ibu. That's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Mati malik tadi udah.
Mas Yadi, room 1 dan Bapak Ibu room 1 dan terima kasih.
Iya.
Sebentar, ini mumpung masih belum pada keluar Bapak Ibu, kamera on nggih, kamera on, Mas Yadi minta tolong di screenshot.
Sampun, Pak.
Oke, Bapak Ibu sudah di screenshot. Sekali lagi matur nuwun semuanya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay healthy.
Kok cepet ruangan satu? Nah, iya. Ruangan satu. Luar biasa Pak Pri ya.
Ya.
Luar biasa.
Ada Bu Eni itu apa?
Lola, iya.
Yang didaftar banyak, yang muncul tidak banyak.
Pak, tadi yang muncul berapa Pak? 1, 2, 3.
8.
Loh, yang bukan yang tampil.
Yang tampil ini 4 paper.
5 dengan video ya?
5 dengan video, 1, 2, 3. Ya, dari 9.
Luar
Dari
biasa sukses Pak.
Ya, karena Pak Sigit itu hebat.
Ya, tak menghormati teman-teman Pak Pri, Bapak Ibu.